What's up, you guys? It's me, Subject Guru, and we're back again for another video which is on maths for the topic algebra. So in this video we'll be learning what is algebra, what is a constant, what is a variable, what is powers, and what is algebraic expressions. So what is algebra? Well, algebra is another type of maths. Okay, like we have fractions, we have rational numbers, etc. Algebra is another type of maths which is used in daily life. We use that like it's our bread and butter. What does algebra consist of? Well, algebra consists of alphabets like A, B, C, D, or even X, Y, Z, and these are the alphabets. All 26 letters are part of algebra. And what else does it consist of? It also consists of numbers such as 1, 2, 3, or 7, 8, 9. Now that is algebra. For example, an algebraic number, let's say 12x is an algebraic number. What about 13y or 16 minus z? These are all algebraic numbers. But how can we differentiate between algebraic numbers and rational numbers and etc.? You see, in rational numbers, it has its own set of numbers, in the sense that it consists of all numbers, integers and natural numbers and whole numbers, but it has its own set of numbers which are fractions. In algebra, we can say that 12 is an algebraic number, but 12 is both a natural number, it's also a whole number, and also it's a decimal number. If we can add a 0.0 there, it's also a rational number, as you can make it as 12 by 1. Algebraic numbers can come under any type of rational numbers, decimal numbers, fractional numbers, whole numbers, and natural numbers, even integers. So what set of numbers is specific to algebra? Well, the set of numbers which is specific to algebra consists of either an alphabet or consists of an alphabet plus a number. And this plus can either be minus, it can either be minus symbol or plus symbol or multiplication symbol and division symbol. Let's take an example here. 12x is a algebraic number. Okay, we can also say that 12 plus x also is an algebraic number. But in this, if we consider this as one number, 12 plus x as one number, then we can say this is an algebraic number. But if we consider 12 as another number and x as another number, we can say that x is the variable, is the alphabet, x is the alphabet, and 12 is a number. Okay, same thing goes for 12 minus y, but this does not apply to 12 divided by y. Okay, for example, 12x is nothing but 12 into x, and and the terms can be only, this is known as a term. This is known as a term. So are these, and these, right? And terms can be only separated by each other from either a plus symbol or a minus symbol. Division symbol as well as a multiplication symbol adds them together, makes them into one term. But then you may be asking, well then if terms can be only separated by a plus and minus symbol, doesn't that mean that this is not actually an algebraic number? Well, as I told you earlier, if you consider this as an algebraic number, if you consider this as an entire one, consider this as one whole, and even this one whole. So this, if you consider as a whole, right? Same thing goes for this. If you also consider this as a whole, then it will equal as an algebraic number. Right. Okay, now what is constant? Well, constant is derived from the term same or fixed. It is constant, consistent, does not vary. Well, that is the meaning of constant. And what are things in algebra that do not vary? Well, they are numbers, because we cannot say that 1 equals as 2 or 2 equals as 7. We cannot change the values, can we? No. So that's why they're known as constants. We can say that 12 is a constant, right? But we cannot say x is a constant. We will learn what is the term for alphabets. We can say x is not a constant. Okay? And also 12 divided by y is it's also not a constant. But it changes when we come to 12 plus y or 12 minus y. The reason because it's all about perspective. Of course the answer will change, but you have to understand the question to classify whether this is a whole number, this is an entire whole, this is an entire whole, or this is just one part and this is another part. If we consider that 12 plus 5 is a whole, it's a whole, then it is not a constant. Okay? But if we consider 12 is another number and y is another number, it's not a whole, then this will equal as a constant. 12 will equal as a constant, whereas y will not be equal as a constant. Now, it's all very confusing if you know only one part of the entire, only if you know the tip of the iceberg. Well, why don't we know the rest of it? So, I've been talking about numbers, 12 and etc. But we still don't know what does this y, x, a, b, c, d do. What is their part? Well, we learn here. And under the topic variable. Okay, so what is a variable? Variable derived from the term varying or varies. It does not remain constant. It is not fixed. its value can change from time to time. And what can we associate it with? We can associate variables with alphabets. The reason because we don't know the value of A. We don't have a value, specific value for it, because it is not constant. It can change. Because if we take a look at it, if we take a look at it in a pencil, A, right? This is A. But we can take the same lines which are making A, and we can change it into 1. We can also change it into 2. And we can also change it into X. Because the same amount of lines is being used to make different values. So that is why A is different. A, X, B, D are all different. They are varying. They are variable. Okay, so let's see some examples. Okay, we can say that X is variable, right? And also we can say 12x is also a variable. Same goes for 12 divided by x. Also 12 divided by x. It is also a variable. But what we cannot say is a variable is that 12 plus x or 12 minus x. The reason being that 12 plus x and 12 minus x is the same reason why we cannot say that if that 12 plus y or 12 minus y is either a whole or not, is either a constant or not a constant, because it depends upon the question. If the question leads you to believe that 12 plus x is a whole, right? Like this 12 plus x is one number, then it means that it means that 12 plus x is a variable. But if the question leads you to believe that 12 is a number and minus x is another number, is another value, then which leads you to believe that it is not a whole, then it means that 12 is a constant. 12 is a constant and x is a variable. Minus x is a variable. So that is known as variables. Algebra consists of both variables, right here, and numbers. The most commonly used variables, numbers. The most commonly used variables are x, y, z, a, b, c. And the least commons are like r, l, and etc. But that does not stop you from using those variables. You can use any type of variable until you can use any type of variable, just that you have to make sure it is an alphabet. You cannot say minus is a variable, or or this symbol as a variable. You cannot say special characters like underscore, dollar sign, hashtag, at the rate of, exclamation mark, percentage. You cannot say that these are variables. Even the and symbol, even though they don't have a specific value, these are not supposed to be used as variables. These are known as operators, just like minus, plus, and etc. Next, we will be learning what is powers. Well, what is the meaning of power? What is the meaning of power? Well, power is nothing but authority, the strength to do things which no other person can do, but they can also acquire it if they put enough hard work. All constants and variables can have their own power. For example, power is denoted by a symbol of a number or a variable on top. For example, we can say 12 raised to the power of 2. This symbol means raised, and I will be using this raised symbol as a sign of power, and whatever number that comes after it will be the power of the constant or variable, and after which I will have a space, and rest of the numbers are variables are normal. For example, we can say that 12 raised to the power of 2. What is it? Well, you know multiplication, right? Multiplication is what is it? 12 into 2. In 12 into 2, it means you're multiplying 12 2 times. It means 12 plus 12. You're adding them. What does that equal as? 24. But in powers, you don't add 12 2 times according to the power number. You only have to multiply 12 2 times. You'll have to multiply it. So 12, this equals as 12 into 12. What does 12 into 12 equal as? Its answer is 144. It's also known as square. When the power of the number is either 2 or 3, we have a specific name for it. This we will call it as a square, and this we will be calling it as a cube. Now that we learned what is powers, we will take a look at it in detail. Well, another thing is variables can have power, like x raised to the power of 2, and also numbers, constants, can also have a power, 12 raised to the power of 3. But the powers are not just limited to numbers. It's also part of variables. So we can say x is raised to the power of x. This variable x is being raised to a power which is not defined because it's a variable. You can also say 12 is raised to the power of y. So we can say that 12 it has a power, but the power is not defined, and the power can equal as 2, it can equal as 7, or it can equal as x minus 1, where x can be 83. So the power would equal as 82. That is known as a power. But how can we visualize the power? We can say, let's take example x to the power of 10. Well, x to the power of 10 is nothing but x multiplied, you guessed it, 10 times. So if you visualize it, we can say x, you can say like x into x into
2,000 years later.
x into x. Now this means that x is being multiplied 10 times, which means that x is raised to the power of 10. What if the power is x? Let's take 12. Let's take 12 that is raised to the power of y. Well, we cannot actually visualize it because y is a variable, right? It's a variable. But we can say that if y equals as 2, then we can say that 12 is raised to the power of 2, which is nothing but 12 into 12. Or in other words, 144. But we don't know yet that what is the value of y. Y's value is undefinable unless we give it a value, we assign it a value, but we have not. Now that is known as powers. Well, now you go, well, since we have learned the basics of variables, the basics of algebra part 1, we'll be learning what is algebraic expressions. Well, algebraic expressions is nothing but the combination of variables and constant. But we cannot just say, we can say 12x is an expression, right? But a modest is a very simple expression. 12x, 12 plus x, 12 plus x, 12 minus 12 plus x, 12 minus x, or 12 divided by x. These are very simple algebraic expressions. They are therefore known as simple algebraic expressions. Now, if there's simple algebraic expressions, there must be a component algebraic expressions, right? Well, there is. And these component algebraic expressions are a little bit more complicated. It consists of almost all the operators, and also it follows the rules of BODMAS. It consists of brackets, consists of the off symbol, consists of division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. An example can be, let's take an example, 3xy plus 9xy, 5yx. Well, in this is an algebraic, it's it is an expression, but this expression that this expression is a compound one. We can simplify it. It will still be a compound expression, but it will be much more easier for for us mathematicians to understand. So according to this operator, we must add these. An important rule of simplifying an algebraic expression is that we must look at all the terms in it. It consists of the number of terms are 3. Well, you may say no, there are many terms like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But you forget that algebraic expressions are separated by plus and minus symbols. So that makes it that 3xy is one term. Then 9xy is another term. 5yx is another term. Another thing to note that if you're going to multiply, then you can jumble up the entire thing. For example, in this term, it is written as 3xy. We can also type it as x 3y, or we can take it as yx 3, or we can take it as 3yx. It may be a little bit confusing, but if you're going to multiply, let's say you're going to multiply 3 into y into x, and y equals as 2 and x equals as 1, right? That means you're going to be multiplying 3 into y, which equals as 3 into y, and y equals as 2. That means 3 into 2, which makes us 6. 6 into 1, which is nothing but 6. So if we use it on this term over here, 3xy, or use it on this term x3y, yx3, or 3yx, we'll say that x into 3 over here equal as 1 because 3, because x is 1 and 3 is 3. So then 3 into y and y equals as 2, it becomes as 6. Still the same. Okay, back to simplifying this term. So we find out the terms are 3. So how do we add them? So we have to see whether all these terms are same. If this term consists of a z, that means that this term cannot add with these terms, meaning that all terms should have the exact amount of variables, but the constants can differ. The variables should be same if you want to add them or subtract them. But if the term is not going to be added or subtracted, but rather it's going to be multiplied, then the variables can be infinite, different kinds of variables and different kinds of constants, and the others can just be consisting of a constant, because you're going to multiply them, you're going to make them into one term. Let's continue. So what is 3xy plus 9xy? 3xy plus 9xy is 12xy. You may be thinking, well, what about the x and y? Should you make them into a power? No, x and y will remain same. You're just going to be adding the constants, because x and y have no defined value. So their value will remain as x and y, and we'll be just adding the values whose number we'll be adding with the variables and constants, and the variables whose value is defined, and plus 5x 5yx, that means it has plus 5yx, and that equals as plus 5yxz. Now you may be thinking, well, what about adding these? We can't, because it consists of a z. And does this term can have a z? No. That means this is the most simplified form. Okay, that is it for this video, guys. I will be uploading more videos sooner. Sorry for the inconvenience, but either way, I hope you guys enjoyed, liked, and also learned a lot. I will be uploading more videos on algebra. Either way, toodaloo. Bye. Better subscribe, or I will call the police.